Hello, lovely people. We are back with Luke chapter 9. Jesus sends out the 12. So, here we go. When Jesus had called the 12 together, he gave them power and authority to drive out demons and to cure diseases, and sent them out to proclaim the kingdom of God and to heal the sick. He told them, "Don't take nothing on your journey: no staff, no bag, no bread, no money, no extra shirt. Whatever house you enter, stay there until you leave the town. If people do not welcome you, leave the town and shake the dust off your feet as the testimonies against them." So they set out and went from village to village, proclaiming the good news and healing people everywhere. Now Herod the Tetrarch heard about all of that was going on, and he was perplexed, because some were saying that John had been raised from the dead, others Elijah had appeared, and still others that one of the prophets of a long ago had came back to life. But Herod said, "I beheaded John. Who then is it I hear such things about?" And he tried to see. When the apostles returned, they reported to Jesus what they had done. Then they took them with him and withdrew by themselves into a town called Bethsaida. But the crowds learned about it and followed him. He welcomed them and spoke to them about the kingdom of God and healed those who needed healing. Late in that afternoon, the 12 came to him and said, "Send the crowd away so they can go to the surrounding village and countryside and find food and lodging, because they were all in a remote place here." He replied, "You give them something to eat." They answered, "They, we have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes, unless we go buy some food for all this crowd." About 5,000 men were there. But he said to the disciples, "Have them sit down in groups of about 50 each." The disciples, he did so, and everyone ate and sat down. Taking the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, he looked up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke them. Then he gave them, he gave them to the disciples to distribute to the people. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 baskets and broke pieces of them left over. Once, when Jesus was praying in private and the disciples were with him, he asked them, "Who do the crowd say I am?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others that one prophet from a long ago has came back to life." But What do you? He asked. Who Peter answered, God, Messiah. Jesus strictly warned them not to tell this to anyone. And he said, the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and the teachers of the law, and he must be killed on the third day and be risen to life. Then he said to them all, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up the cross daily and follow me. For whoever wants to save their lives will lose it. But for those who ever lose their lives, but whoever lose their lives for me will save it. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world and yet lose and forfeit their very self? Whoever is ashamed of me and my words, and the Son of Man will be ashamed of them when he comes to his glory, and in the glory of his Father and of the holy angel. Truly, I tell you, someone who are standing here will not taste death before they see the kingdom of heaven. About 8 days after Jesus said this, he took Peter, John, and James and went up into the mountain to pray. As he was praying, the appearance of a face changed, and his clothes became as bright as a flashing light. The two men, Moses and Elijah, appeared in the glory splendor, talking with Jesus. They spoke about his departure, which he was about to bring to full fulfillment at Jerusalem. Peter and his companions were Peter and his companions were very sleepy, but when they became fully awake, they saw his glory and the two men standing there with him. As the two men were leaving, Peter said to him, Master, is it good for us to be here? Let us put up 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. He did not know what he was saying. While he was speaking, a cloud appeared and covered them, and they were afraid as they entered the cloud. A voice came from the cloud saying, This is my son, whom I have chosen. Listen to him. When the voice had spoke, they found that Jesus was alone. The disciples kept this to themselves and did not tell anyone at the time what they had seen. The next day, when Jesus came down from the mountain, a large crowd met him. A man in the crowd called out, Teacher, I beg you to look at my son, for he is the only child. The Spirit seized him, and he suddenly screamed. It throws him into convulsions so that I'm sorry. The, the, I'm gonna start over. I beg you to look at my son, for he is my only child. And the spirit seized him, and he suddenly screams. It throws him into convulsions, so that from so that foam at his mouth, I is it sacredly leaves even him and destroys him. I beg you, your disciples, to drive it out. But they could not. When unbelievers and perverse generation, Jesus replied, how long shall I stay with you and put up with you? Bring your son here. Even while the boy was coming, the demon threw him to the ground in a convulsion. But Jesus rebuked the impure spirit, healing the boy, and gave him back to his father. But they were all amazed at the greatness of God. While everyone was marveling at all that what Jesus did, he said to his disciples, listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you. The Son of Man is going to be delivered into the hands of men. But they did not understand what this meant. It was hidden from them, so they did not grasp it, and they were afraid to ask him about it. An argument started about an argument started among the disciples as to which of them would be the greatest. Jesus, knowing their thoughts, took a little child and had him standing beside him. Then he said to them, whoever welcomes this child in my name, welcomes me. Whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. For it is the one who is the least among you who is the greatest. John said, Master, we saw someone driving out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him because he is not with us. Do not stop him, Jesus said, for whoever is against you is for you. Whoever is not against you is for you. As time approached for him to be taken up into heaven, Jesus resolutely set out to Jerusalem, and he sent a message on ahead, who went into the Samaritan village to get things ready for him. But the people there did not welcome him, because they were headed to Jerusalem. When the disciple James, John, saw this, they asked, Lord, why do you want us to go? They asked, why do you want us to call fire down from heaven to destroy them. But Jesus turned and rebuked them. Then he and his disciples went to another village. As they were walking along the road, a man said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus replied, "Foxes have dens, birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." He said to another man, "Follow me." He replied, "Lord, first let me go bury my father." Jesus said, "Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." Still another said, "I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family." Jesus replied, "No one will put hands to the plow to look back is fitting for service for the kingdom of God. Chapter 9.